guys, welcome to the Fake Deep Radio. On this show, we'll be discussing popular culture, art, music, and design through our unique perspectives as young Nigerians. Let's get it!
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Fake Deep Radio.
Whoop, whoop! Let's get it!
Well, the manga is back, guys. As you can see,
Back at it again.
Now,
Let's go.
This is a crack-infused space.
What?
The manga is here.
I don't know what you speak of, bruv.
Nah, bro.
But guys, first of all, actually, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What's so bad with doing crack?
I don't want to end up on the street under the bridge.
But they are functional crackheads now.
I have not seen one.
Apparently, crack they help you lose weight anyway. So,
Yeah. That's actually
apparently
mad.
some people take crack to lose weight. But
Interested.
Drugs are actually not bad. That's the thing. But anyways, let's not.
Let's stay on track, boys.
No, but like as we, anyways.
What were you about to say?
Moving forward. No.
Let us move forward.
But they are actually like functioning drug addicts.
of course, now would be
Just
Yeah.
not
They are
crackheads. That's what I
functioning
feel.
alcoholics.
Of course,
out
of
there.
course, of
Functioning
course.
weed addicts out there. I mean,
But you're not going to see functioning crackheads. That's the thing. Think of it. There's not one.
I mean,
At least cocaine, they give you focus.
Abel is so quiet.
Because you have to differentiate between functioning and like the long-term effects of these things.
what is
down
actually
something.
functioning at the end of the day? Because
Functioning is not.
You can still
affecting
go about your
personal
daily
life.
activities.
your personal life,
Yeah.
you don't have to- But what if crackheads that the personal life really want?
I mean, everybody's making that decision for
To
themselves.
each
Exactly.
his
To
own.
each his own. Anyways, moving on.
How was you guys' week? What's up?
Guy, I had a week of this week, man.
This fucking guy.
This guy. And I had the exact opposite. You were chilling. I was just killing myself.
Funniest thing is when my break started, I told myself, okay, I'm going to do this, plan for this, do this. So it's Monday, this, Tuesday, this, blah.
But when I sleep,
Vibes and inshallah.
Bro, I
Sick
know
vibes.
one productive day this week. I just slept, watched Netflix, and God knows this was the best week I've had. So
now sometimes you need that
Sometimes.
refresh
Rest.
now.
I don't
Come
kill
on.
myself.
This
It's
life
as
now
well
one
as
now.
walking.
Come on.
honestly.
YOLO.
You gotta
You know the vibes.
Listen to what you
I
mean.
don't know. I don't know.
We missed you, bro. We missed you.
Back
Yeah,
at
man.
it.
Yeah, did you guys see that? You guys see that video of those two kids that were doing animation?
Oh yeah, they were wearing leopard skin pants.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, were they in the
Daddy, I'm
jump?
your
Yeah, it was pints. That one a pint.
That was the peculiar thing about that.
Wait, leopard skin pants.
I don't know if it was leopard skin. I don't know.
It looks like
I don't know why they
leopard
focus on their
prints.
pants like that.
Because it was weird that they were right there. But guy, that thing was
But
hilarious.
both of them were basically doing. I don't know. They're punishing them. They're doing Angunati. They don't even do Angunati well because they were doing it on the air. Normally Angunati, I went to
Well,
be on the
the
wall.
older kid was he wasn't doing it
They
right.
went to do it
It's
on the
not harder to do it like free.
It's
like,
harder to
no-
do it free.
Free.
Yeah?
Like, no
Than on the
yeah.
wall?
You see,
And
Yeah,
then
on the
if
wall you have supports now.
If you're doing it well.
If you're doing it,
It's, on the wall, at least you have support.
You have
The
some
rest of
support.
it, right? At least sometimes if you just
If you do it right, freestanding is worse because
but parents,
you have to go down and support yourself.
freestanding, that's why it's called Angunati because you're meant to literally be at an Angunati.
Yeah.
But freestanding, you can't do Angunati.
But that's the point.
You just be bending. No, that's the thing. You actually cannot physically do it.
No, you
right
can
now.
do it.
No, you can.
You can. It's just harder.
You need to
Like
demonstrate.
your
Yeah.
form won't
Your-
be good, but you
your
can do
knee
it. Yeah.
And your knee will be
And your back. So it's your back and your your thighs.
so your
and
back will be perpendicular to
to
your thighs.
Yeah.
That's not possible now.
It
Freestanding.
is, but that's the point. That's why it's a
That's the point. It's
punishment.
hard as
No,
fuck.
that's
It's
the-
meant to be hard.
You can't actually
You
physically
can
do that.
now. You can.
let's keep going. With
I remember when my dad used to do it to me, he would just draw a horizontal line on the wall. So if your head came off that line, you know Koboko, you can reach far. So people just chill, they
First
watch
of all,
channels.
why do you used to sell Koboko?
Bro,
It's so funny.
Why is it that you could go to market?
it was made of animal
And
skin.
you know it was
right?
cheap as fuck,
They
right?
will say use this one to flog your picking.
No, but there are two
Somebody
different-
made
there are two
business.
different types. There was the bamboo one and the animal skin one.
No, even the animal skin one, there was now
Bamboo.
types like
Wait, there was the
one
bamboo.
mouth,
Yes,
two
bamboo is
mouths.
the long one and that's the stick.
Yeah.
Then there was the one that had like 6 mouths.
There was
Oh,
one with
yeah,
six
yeah,
mouths,
yeah,
two
yeah.
mouths, three mouths.
The one my
bros.
father had was 3 months as well.
Jesus, I just remembered one of my primary 4 teacher, Uncle Chimezie. So when
Uncle Chimezie.
you know how he used to flog us?
What just happened?
So he would be sitting on his desk in class, right? And he tell you to stand far from him.
Yeah.
Then he's flog at the back of the neck.
What?
So it's like with Koboko, you hear it moving through the air and it's just like
Guy.
class be quiet. If that guy catches you, that guy was wicked as
And so-
fuck, bro.
Same, like I think in my primary school, this is like my teacher, Mr. Mensa, would tell us that when he's because he used to use the bamboo one. So obviously, the bamboo one is not very durable. Now, at some point, it start to break. So we tell us that anybody that should bring cane, the person that should bring cane for me this week, I'll not flog you for the week.
Baba, they bring cane every week now.
Yeah, go see niggas, all these idiots. They bring cane every week so that.
Chill, like is a given that he will flog you if you don't
if you fuck up now.
One thing will happen, go flog you now.
Yeah.
As a what?
A
boy in primary school.
Have you not ever heard about Soulmates?
No, I mean I know people that went
Anybody?
there, but I didn't really hear.
Guy, I remember one time this particular woman, this babe, her owners. Stretch your hand out like this, and you know that wooden ruler.
Yes, that orange one
on your knuckles.
Yeah, on your knuckles. Yeah, I hate that shit.
This is first in assembly. If you don't cut your nails, they'll just tell you, show me your nails. Your nails are long.
That and knocking, those are two things that I can't stand. If somebody knocks me, I take it very personal.
There's nothing more disrespectful.
Like it's very, very personal.
If somebody knocks me today, it might be a beer. Everything I have to trick you now.
Because like just
do this formation and
they go people that you knock so violently that your head will swell up.
And they don't knock on your head, they knock you here, just in front. It's your forehead here.
But that's not safe, knocking somebody on the forehead. Like you can kill the person, literally.
Bruh.
I'm knocking now.
But I remember that day when I came back to the house and I think my mom now saw my knuckles swollen up and red. She had to come to the school and change it for that woman. Because it was like, what the fuck? This is not.
It's a kid.
I'm now like as I'm grown, right? I'm looking back at it and I'm like, how can I remove ruler and be flogging another person's child on their hand?
Forget even ruler. That's wood. How can I carry a piece of wood?
That is frustration. So actually, based off of that, do you guys actually believe in like beating kids for discipline? In terms of discipline, you believe in beating your kids?
Danger.
I mean, like, I'm not a parent, right? Yeah. And none of us are parents here.
Exactly.
It'd be beautiful if
my guys, how you know?
I would love to hear the perspective of a parent if there are any parents listening, but I don't like kids don't know what the fuck they are doing, right? You as a parent, you're supposed to guide them to do the right thing, right? And there are many ways to discipline a kid. I personally think you should, I've said it before, you should observe your kid and what they respond to, like what method of correction they respond to the most, and figure it out for them. Now the problem is that one of those methods could be beating.
What if your kid respond to joke slam?
This guy.
like beating for me. Primarily, what it does is instill fear, and I don't think you want your kids to be scared of you. You want to find the optimal way of correcting them, but sometimes you kind of need to show them that you're not fucking around, because kids will test you.
Of course,
they want to know the limits of how much they can push you. So, like for me, beating didn't really work for me. When I was growing up, what worked was just I'll call it like mind games. Like when they would just fuck with me, talking, it's like, I don't care enough to beat you. Like, just fuck off. That one used to get
that
to
kind
me.
of thing,
But not beating. When you beat me, I'll actually be angry. Like, let's go out to do it
I think for me, what actually worked for me was opening my eyes to reality.
What does that?
So,
how do you mean?
My mother would show me the consequences of doing something bad or wrong without actually touching me. I mean, she beats me, but it got to a point where like she would just obviously allow me to see the reality of what life could be. If let's say I don't pass my exams, or if I'm going to go and be doing hard drugs or something, basically just showed me the reality of how life could be if I fuck my life up, basically. That kind of thing.
So can you give us one story? Don't worry, but see,
the only story I have, I think I spoke about it last time on the pod when I came second to the last. That was
like, this child, this my son. Oh my god!
I think that day she looked at me and I could see the disappointment in her eyes. It was one of those things where it was like she couldn't start beating me there. She knew that at that point it was like she was fed up. In some sense, which I don't know why, because that's what I used to feel normally. But she just I could see in her eyes that she was just like, okay. And then she just told me, see, whatever I want to do is your business. Honestly, as you know, I'm not rich. Your father is not rich. There's no money for you to inherit. If you end up not passing and you don't get a good job, you'll be broke and you'll be on the streets. And obviously I'm not saying it word for word, but there are a lot of things that she told me that day. Just basically telling me that, see, if you like, what do you want to do? Now yourself, you do.
Yeah.
We've paid your school fees, we've paid our dues. Whatever I want to do with your life, do with your life.
Business.
And from that day till I left school, so I left. I think I was like just student till SS3. My mother never checked my result again.
For real?
I swear. She told me, what
Did you keep
So you
failing?
studied pass.
Oh, you were passing.
Yeah.
I studied
Okay,
pass.
we thank God.
They know the third person.
I see.
You know the Peter person.
But the thing is, like, teaching people with fear, that's primal, right? With everyone, like even animals, whatever is like, fear is a lesson. Like fear, they use fear to teach people.
Yeah.
For me personally, I think what was one thing that worked for me? I remember I wasn't good at math at first, in the beginning of my secondary school days. But then there was one, I was actually good at geography. And I think I wasn't good at math because our class was too full. That time, 4-3, we had like, because everybody...
Probably not mass without further mass.
Mass without further mass, right? In Cherryfield that year. So we were like 30-something in that class.
Yeah.
And so it was tight. And me, Oekwe, Obina, we could just did backseat, they laugh, they crack joke. You get, then them, babes for front, now them they hear. And our math teacher at that time, Mr. Chin.
Mr.
Chin.
What? Fucking mad name, bro.
That nigga did not care about anybody at all. If you say he'll be talking and he'll say, do you guys understand? Us at the back will say no, he'll say good. I'm not fucking around. He'll just say good and just keep going. Like he didn't actually care.
Yeah.
So I didn't actually give a shit about math because I didn't understand it. But geography, we were only 3 doing geography in that class, right? So I used to pay attention in geography class. So I was good at geography. Yeah. And the teacher at that time actually liked me. He was like, this guy sabi geography. You get. So one day we're having our class, geography class, and me and the other there. So it was 2 girls and me. And then Mr. Chi entered the class. He now said, there are only 3 students doing geography in this. And I was, the guy was like, yeah, there are only 3 of us. He now looked at me and said, okay, that means I see only 2 students in this class.
God damn it.
And he walked out. So me, I be good. Because
what the fuck is that?
That's disrespectful. That's mad disrespectful.
That's wild, bro.
Like,
I was like, what? And then everybody was just
crazy.
like, shocked. Even Mr.
wait, but why did he walk out?
He just came to greet.
Oh, okay.
It
It was
was
not
a
like it
geography
was his
teacher.
class.
Mr. Gabriel.
Oh yeah.
So Mr. Gabriel just laughed it off. Ha ha ha. Me in my chest. My heart
in the pain.
constantly beats.
Who are the other 2 in class?
Ramato and Fit.
Of course. You
Of
know,
course.
the 2 with the class.
So for me, I think that was the first time when my perspective on education just changed. Everything just changed for me, and of course I did do well for maths. I became one of the
Oh, so
maths
that
teachers.
moment right there changed your mindset.
and I would never forget it.
Yes.
Interesting.
And it's interesting because that was all, and it just took me so maybe is it shame that we used to call it?
I feel like it's
What's the word?
there's something about when you feel ridiculed, like you feel like in yourself that you feel worthless, and it's like, this is not who I am.
As in,
As young as you are, you can actually have that kind of switch in your head. Because at that point, I told myself, when my mom told me and looked at me like that, I could see it in her eyes, and I was like, this is not who I am. I cannot be a disgrace. Do you understand that kind of thing?
I'm gonna be ashamed.
I cannot be ashamed. Do you understand that kind of thing? So I fully get you. And I mean, going back on based on what you said, right? I feel like the reason why fear is never a good tactic to train your child, because fear is very adaptable. People can adapt to fear and pain. You understand?
Yeah.
You can beat me today, and I'll be afraid of the cane to the point where like I don't feel the pain anymore, and I'm not afraid of it anymore.
And it's
And
not
at the
gonna
point where
change.
like I don't have that fear anymore, what else do you have?
What else do you have?
And it can cause 2 things. Like it can instill one rebellion, so you just go over the edge, or it can make you timid, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a very clear contrast. Like I've been in like a public restaurant here or something like, and you see a kid, like a young white kid, just insulting his mother, just being a nuisance, and the parent is so flustered, just begging that please behave yourself. It's like, I'm like, Omo, if you did Lagos,
They go
because
land you slap.
and in Nigeria, I've seen the opposite, where a kid is crying and making noise and being a public nuisance, and people around are like, say, madam, if you know who's speaking, I'm like,
I don't like that.
it's like the approach is different, because I've seen that like real life, and obviously it's middle ground, right? Because it's like,
sorry, but why did you open your eyes?
Mommy, but why? But why?
no, it's for real now. It's like, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. It's not even your child, and people are threatening the child.
Because they disturb me now, and they try to sell my business.
Inside boss, I've seen that shit.
No, but in Nigeria, it's like a community thing. That's why people see it that way.
Take a village.
Nah,
to
it's
make a man,
crazy.
I guess.
Nah,
She's
but
what
for
about
me, growing up, okay, so I think I had both sides, right? When I was younger, like up until maybe just 2, just 3, I was always a stubborn kid. Yeah. Good and fine,
I'm still
right?
stubborn.
I'm kind of still stubborn. But prior to that, what works for me, and I can say looking back, was beating, man. Because for me, if you tell me when I was younger, when I say just 2 and prior, when you tell me not to do something, if you're just telling me not to do it, but I want to see why. Like, so that was how my mindset was, right? So when people talk to me or try to talk to me, it didn't work. But when you beat me, I don't want to feel that pain. Hence, and that's correct. I'm doing it out of fear because I don't want to feel that pain. I wouldn't do it. But as I started growing older, entering like senior secondary, the beating thing was not working anymore. For me, I would rather you speak to me about it. I think there was, I have this very mad story. So Popsy never really beat me in my life. Like, maybe he has beaten me like 3 times in my whole life. He's the kind of person where he wants you to face the consequences. He will talk to you. He will tell you not to do something. He will tell you why you shouldn't do it. And if you do it and enter trouble, don't come and meet him. He's not going to help you. Do you understand? Like, you face it yourself. But there was this time, we're living in this block of flats, right? We're on like the highest floor, which is like the 3rd or 4th floor.
Yeah.
Where was this?
This was in Kaduna, right? And our neighbor's daughter, Ekaite.
What? Wow.
Her name was Eka.
That is a legendary.
Yeah.
That's a legendary ass name.
Eka.
Ashish, where's the story going?
Wait, watch. This babe did something. I can't remember what she did. She did something that pissed me off. Anyway, we sure had bad blood. Like, you know, all this childish shit. Yeah. And then she was coming back from school. I remember this day. I was already upstairs. And then she mentioned, I was on the balcony, and then she saw me and she said something. And it just vexed me. Like, I got so angry. And then there was like this, like, you know, all these small gravel stones, right? And I just threw one downstairs and it hit her, right? It didn't like injure her, right? But same usual way, she just started crying. Went to go and report to Popsy.
How old were you at this time?
I was maybe like 11. Yeah. Okay. It was just 1 or just 2. So yeah, like 11, 12. So she went to go and report. I can't remember. She either reported, I think she reported to Popsy or Momsy in the house. Yeah, they saw her crying and then she said why.
Like your parents?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the 3 times that my Popsy beat me. And honestly, that day was the day I realized, you know, this beating thing, like
it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. Oh, this thing, bros. After that day, I my head like straight up, like. But in general, I think like, beating is not the way. Except, I think there are times for it. There's a place. Like if your kid is really being a piece of shit, you can hit him. But it doesn't solve anything in the long run. It does not. It just instills fear, and that's not a way you want to have a relationship with your kid. Or build a relationship with your kid.
I see myself now, and I'm like, if we're all getting to that age where we just started reasoning now. You understand? That's last. But it's like, I'm seeing myself now, and I'm like, if I had a kid and they're doing something, like let's say my child stole somebody's daughter with something, how do I? I'm trying to put myself in that situation right now. Like, how do I actually react?
Guy, you have to respect parents, man.
Imagine you just finish an 8-hour shift, and then you come back and I tell you that your child stole somebody. It's at that point, it's be a lot harder for you to rationalize the situation and be like, okay, what am I going to do?
And that, unfortunately, right, in that moment, that's where some parents can actually take out
their frustration
because it's no more just about the kid; it's about their whole day, all the other things that have happened to them. Like, you're just in a bad state of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, but how would you approach this?
But see, that's the thing,
right?
We are forgetting the factor of the fact.
The factor of the fact. Let's go.
We're forgetting the fact that we are in a country where hitting your child is illegal.
Yeah, of course.
So that is not.
Wait, sorry, is it illegal?
Yes. If they call what they call
child services.
Child services, you're in trouble. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So how do you discipline your child?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's why parents say they do it.
That's not even an option for us here, unless you want to go back to Nigeria and raise your children. That's an option for you. But if you are here, you cannot hit your children. So what exactly are you going to do?
You have to get creative.
So let's put thought experiment. You've come back from work. Maybe that day you've worked like 9 hours. It's 9 p.m. You've come back and it's like, that was a terrible day at work. Yeah. Client, maybe even lost. Maybe they lost that because of you.
Yeah, damn it.
Right? You come back, you're vexed. You're tired.
He's in trouble.
You've come back and you just hear that your child actually stole somebody's child. Like, you pick stone and stole somebody's child, and the child is just there, and they're looking at you. They just fold in their hands sitting there. What do you do?
So obviously, as you grow older, I think you have to find a way to manage your emotions. But only God knows how you react in that moment. I think one thing that works is depriving them of things that they find a lot of pleasure in.
Yeah.
So,
these days, technology.
the
basically.
whites will call it, you're grounded.
Yeah. These are the whites.
But, like, maybe you just see something. I don't think beating should be because beating should not be the first resort. Do you understand? It's like, 100%. Seize their iPad. I don't know, no ice cream for 10 years.
This all sounds so fucking bullshit.
No, but guess what?
So you
Kids
think you
these
want to go
days, that's
straight
what they're connected to.
No, but
David, what will you do?
That's the thing. For me, they actually didn't hit me as a kid, though. Funny enough.
But what will you do?
What will I do?
That's the question.
That's the thing is, okay. I think what I'll do is, I think I will. It depends on the age of the child, first of all.
So he's like 11,
Child
12.
is 11.
Yeah.
At that point, you're in secondary school, so you have a bit of reasoning ability. You understand? So I can bring you in, and I feel like this might sound very, odd or far-fetched, but I would actually speak to you about conflict resolve, right? I feel like I'll ask you. I'll try to find out exactly why you did what you did. Why did you feel like you? What emotion led you to actually stone that person? Is it resentment? Is it hate? Is it anger? We'll see how we can resolve it, and we'll talk about it. And I'll bring that up, the other child into the scenario.
Should be crying.
Remember,
That's
you
mature as
just
fuck.
lost your project.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. Like at that point, obviously, this is me
No.
with a clear head, right?
Yeah.
At that point, obviously, a lot of emotions. But like Abel said, as you go older, you have to start to learn to obviously control your emotions, not just for your relationship, but for your children as well, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, obviously, you should be able to have a clear head. And these are children, which their children play fight and all these kind of things. Like, obviously, you can bring them down and you talk to them about like what it is that they are, what kind of emotions led to the actions that they did, and however way you want to approach it in terms of verbal communication. I feel like that's how you should do it. Because for me, for example, I remember when I was in primary school, I had this. It wasn't a fight; it was a bit of a squabble, right? With this one of my very close friends then, Jay, right? And my mom, I think we had an argument, and when I was going back home that day, my mom picked me, and she asked, like, she was just asking about school, and I just told her, oh, like, me and this guy fought, and I hate him, those kind of things. And then I think a few days after, she was asking, because I used to go to his house very often. My mom asked me if I wanted to visit. I said, no, I'm not speaking to him again. She was like, what, are you guys keeping malice? I said, I don't know what malice is, but I hate him. Kind of thing. She now explained to me how, like,
I can imagine David dead.
She now explained to me,
Like you with
his big head.
she now explained to me, like, the what's the word? The dynamics of keeping malice with somebody and how it never really helps anything. She asked me, like, have we actually tried to like talk about it? And it's so weird, like saying it now. I'm sure it's, in your head is like, how did my mom have that kind of conversation with me when I was like 7 or something, or 8?
But it made sense.
It actually made sense how she spoke, and that's one conversation I can never forget today. How my mom actually taught me like the disadvantages of keeping malice with somebody, especially if someone that you consider as your friend. So me, I think I would just approach it in a more verbal way. But then again, I don't get children, so
I like that. I like what David's answer, because it's like, I think a hybrid of that works, right? You tell them. I didn't think about it first. He said it, but like you explain to them, okay, what were those emotions you felt that made you act that way? Because if you can teach a child at a young age, start understanding his own emotions, that's powerful. Then follow it up with, there are consequences for your actions. So I'm going to seize your iPad. So it's both, and you see how that. And obviously, this is just kumbaya shit. There are children
Because
who
also
are,
at that age, right?
they are deviants.
You were probably older, and obviously you had some sense, but some kids might not understand what emotions they are feeling. Like explaining the consequence part, right? As he mentioned, I think that's a great way to do it, because you're showing them like, oh, if you do this is what happens, right? I am not the one involved. This is it's a direct result of, it's a direct consequence of what you did. Exactly. But they might not be able to articulate, as he said, their emotions. She said, your mom said malice, and you were like, I don't know, I just hate this guy. Right? So that's probably a very good way to do it.
It's a job now. I figure out how to explain to them.
So I'm just thinking now, in a situation where like your child is a lot younger. Let's say this is like a toddler-ish.
A lot younger than you?
No, a lot younger than.
Okay.
11,
3, 4, 5.
like a 3, 4, 5-year-old. Like, how would you approach that kind of situation?
That one,
you can't beat that kid, because that kid is not. And you can't also explain to that kid.
There was one I was listening to where he was like, that one at that point they just cry a lot. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a lot of crying, and you just have to allow them to cry and know that their cry is not going to get them anywhere. That was one I was seeing someone was like, it's not because you're crying that I'll now come to your beck and call and start pitying you.
And kids have crocodile tears, right? Sometimes.
Yes,
I think in this case, what personally I would do is something similar to what Abel mentioned. You already know things they like and things they want, right? Take some of those things from them, like just something very little. Like, it could be a toy they really like, right? Be like, you don't get to play with this toy because you did this. Like, don't do this. Like, so you try to instill that by taking that. So there's a consequence. So they start getting used to the fact that, oh, if I do something bad, I lose something. So they get that association in their head.
I'm just going to say that now. That thinking of the kind of child I was as a kid, that would never work for me.
Really?
Yes. I'm trying to think of things that you take from me that I'll say, oh God.
But see, we lived in a very different time where it was us going out to play. For me, okay, good example. When I was growing up, one thing they used to use for me is you can't go out to play. Because I used to go out to play with like the neighbors, right? And the kids around the house, like every evening or on weekends. And my mom would tell me, oh, maybe I fucked up during the week. I did something crazy. No playtime for you. You can't go out. If I want to go out, maybe she would say, oh, you can only go out for 1 hour. Afterwards, you have to come back. And it used to work.
That one they work because from my room that time, your window, they would see where everybody they play.
Yeah, so you will see them. You will see them and you can't go out. Correct. Yeah.
When I see everybody playing on the road, and I know that I can't.
And sometimes they'll be calling you, Ashish, follow how far? Come now, come. I'm like, I can't. Because you know if you tell them, say, my mom no one let me go.
We had very different childhoods then.
Yeah.
No, you know what they say, like when straight out of the box, kids are different. They have different personalities.
No, I'm not talking about personality wise, because for me, I'm just thinking, if they tell me to sit down at home, I spent a lot of time at home.
For real?
Yeah. No, and if I come out to go play, I usually play with myself on my card. I need to get children around my area.
That's probably why it doesn't have that much of an effect on you. But if you're like super social as a kid and you go a lot of your this thing from playing with other kids, that one is painful.
And
like it is deeply painful.
It's also interesting, like looking at, because you as a guy and then your partner, whether it's another guy or another babe, you know the dynamics of like raising kids who can be different. So it's like that's another interesting conversation to have with your partner before you like even like have kids.
Is there anyone here that their parents, that like both their parents had like different approaches to discipline?
Well, I would say mine was kind of different. So like my mom used to hit me quite frequently, right? But not like she used to slap, like, and I'm always near her, and every time I say something stupid or I do something stupid, like she's so fast, she's like, what? I start going off, and like, don't stop doing this, right? I remember she used to have this. Remember those wooden fans, like those the hand fans. Yeah. So next to her bed, right? She used to keep like 2 of them because sometimes say NEPA they take lights now, so she go just carry a fan herself.
In case it's when.
But that was the second reason.
Uzi next to me.
So anytime they fuck up and I did inside a room, or more, she would just reach out.
God damn it.
But that was rare. But like, yeah, she used to hit me more often than my dad. My dad used to more or less just warn you and tell you things. Yeah. He did hit me, as I said, like 2 or 3 times in my whole life. Yeah. But that was it. So yeah, he used to talk to me more like, oh, don't do this. You need to read your books to pass your exam. Otherwise, you go to the streets.
I think for me, both my parents were always on the same page. But it's just that my mom, like being a woman, naturally, she's more like, I don't want to call it kinder, but she's softer. Yeah. So it's like, if she ever felt like my dad was being too hard and too extreme, because damn, my dad used to get a kick out of like those Angle 90 sessions. He would tell us to like, he would tell you to strip, like you will be wearing only like your boxers.
That's
right?
What they did to those guys.
And be doing your Angle 90.
So you can see the sweat.
Sweating.
See the sweat on every part of your body.
He's sitting not so close to you, but close enough that like you see when your head goes above the line. And it was like, is this guy a sociopath? Like, how the fuck is he?
Because he had like 4 boys.
But you see the thing, Abel, look at you now.
What?
A young, respectable man. Don't you think all that?
Fuck off, nigga. Of course it did. Like,
played the parts though.
It actually calms you down because boys are a handful to raise.
Yeah, man.
Boys.
Yeah, you had 4 boys. Come on now. Like, you have to respect
all of
that.
us are not like far.
He had to be a tyrant.
All of us are not like far in age, so it was a crazy time. But whenever he would be taking it, like, because he's a man, like he has some aggression in him, some temper. So my mom coming back, but she also had her own. Yeah. I remember a time when Joe used to annoy me a lot, and I think I beat him when my mom went out and she told me to like look after my brothers, right? Then Joe knows how to make just overblow the thing as if I destroyed his life. So my mom comes back and he meets her before, because me, I'm trying to go first so I can say he was doing this. He just went and he met her first and he sold her on the fact that I ruined his life. My mom was chasing me around the house, like you can loop the house like a circle with broom. You know the Nigerian broom that when they tie it together. I was running so fast. She told me, and I ran away from the house. Like I just went and stayed somewhere for like 6 hours. Then when I came back, she was no longer angry. But she had her own temper too. I think she used to just like manage it, like because my dad's one sometimes used to be like crazy. But you know, I don't know.
But I mean, it's like last, like we said, like you have to. It's the two parents, right, that are raising the kid at the same time. You have to find having that person that you're actually compatible with that's going to help you raise these kids. But that's another interesting conversation, like compatibility.
Yeah.
Like how does that? I mean, if they will not, you be our sensei for years.
Fuck off. I mean, before we talk about compatibility as an idea, is like, do you think the partners have to have a consensus on the approach to discipline of the kids, or could they differ in their approaches and still work for the child?
I think it's a conversation that needs to be had.
Of course, right?
Ultimately, like you have to have that conversation, because it's like I can't tell you how to discipline your child.
Yeah,
we just have to have that conversation, and we have to be on the same page.
Because you don't want to build that scenario where the kid knows the
good guy,
parent who
guy.
is one person is painted as the good guy, and that happens a lot. Yeah. And like it will stay till,
and then the kid starts picking sides
until you.
But I think that good cop bad cop dynamic is kind of important. Like it shouldn't be the same all through. Two of you, as you said, should discuss and be on the same page, right, as to how to handle it. But even the good cop in the relationship should still know when to not be good and discipline the kid. Because as you said, the kid could run to you like, oh, mommy, daddy's beating me, come and help me, right? And a lot of times, yes, you might shelter that kid, you might help the kid out, but like there are times where you don't. You be like, no, go face your fucking issues. Like this has nothing to do with me.
Also, the good cop bad cop thing could also be a strategy as well, because I like growing up, like you can see where like if there's one parent that beats you a lot, and there's another parent that like kind of like is a bit nicer, right? You kind of, let's say you fear one and you probably respect the other. You understand? And when you fear somebody, it's going to be hard for you to listen to what that person is trying to tell you. Right? I'm just using myself as an example now. Like so I know there are a lot of times when my mom would beat me, because my dad never really hit me. So I know there are a lot of times when my mom would beat me, and like whatever she was saying, I did not care. I did not care her reasons. I did not care about anything. I just cared about the fact that she was hitting me. And it was only like when I speak to my dad and he would tell me, okay, this is why you were hit, this is what happened, this is what you did, and I say, okay, I understand. You understand?
Like,
so
he won't paint her as a bad guy, but he'll tell you why.
Like, he'll tell me why. So I feel like it's a strategy where like,
so you respected him, but you feared her.
But it's that kind of thing. Right? I feel like that good cop bad cop could be a strategy where like, okay, maybe one of the parents has to take the fall and be the bad guy,
or it could switch. I mean,
but I don't think it can work if it switches. Do you understand? Because I feel like if you know that these two people have the capability of hitting you, right? It's very easy for you to develop fear for both of them.
Yeah.
But you know that there's one particular one that, with all the nonsense that you've done, they've never hit you. You kind of feel safe in that person's presence.
But that's the slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope.
Yeah,
it's a slippery slope. It's obviously a slippery slope.
And that it happens to a lot of like very people who are like privileged, right? Where both parents don't see the need to beat kids, so the kids just becomes a narcissist at a very young age, and I'm going to do what the fuck I want. And
but on the other hand, right, I think it also works. So we've been talking about discipline and when the kid does bad things, right? You also have to consider how you treat the kid when the kid does something great, or how positive reinforcement, right? So again, the same bad cop parents, right, could be the one who reinforces the most, who gives you the most gifts, who like gives you hugs, who does like
that's
those
type
things.
Of parent.
So this raising kids shit is complicated.
It could support each other both ways.
It's a full-on life.
And bro, the worst part is that you've never done this before. Everyone is a parent for the first time,
and there's absolutely no rule.
And there's no rule book.
And it's like every kid straight out the box is different. You have to figure it out, trial and error.
In real time.
And that's why like a lot of times you see that the first child in a lot of people, a lot of families,
experiments now.
They like it's either they are really good or they are really bad, because their own experiments.
Yeah,
they use the first child to learn a lot of time.
And it's like first children always have a lot of trauma.
Yeah,
like that's one thing I've realized. Like there are a lot of things that and like David said, it can go, because trauma is a double-edged sword, right? For some people, you can have a traumatic event that changes your life for the positive, but for some people, that traumatic event can change your life for the negative, right? So it's like I've seen situations where, as a first child, you went through a lot of things, and your parents, because they were still young and they had energy. I mean, as time went on and they got older, they didn't have the energy to do the same things again. So the children that followed, they had an easy ride.
Much softer with them.
You don't have these things in your heart for like your parents, right? Yeah. And it's like is having kids. You really have to. First of all, not everybody's supposed to have kids. That's the thing that we need to.
That's the most important thing. I feel like a lot of people do not realize it, that it's not everybody.
It's not a rule book that just get married and then born children.
Bruh.
I think this one thing that annoys me a lot, because I've spoken to a lot of people. I think we're at the age now where a lot of people are obviously, thinking about getting married, obviously to eventually have kids and stuff like that, right? And I speak to a lot of people and I'm like, okay, so like, what are your reasons for wanting to get married or wanting to have children, right? And most people don't actually know the reasons why they want these things.
Because society says.
In their head is just, okay, that is the journey of life. That is the journey of life that I've seen, or that's the journey of life that I know. You go to school, you are born, you go to school, you get your job, you get your house, you get married, you have your children, you have your family.
Yeah.
And it's like, that particular dynamic of life doesn't work for everybody.
Of course.
It's not everybody that is equipped to actually raise another human being. You understand? I feel like some of us will get to the point where even at the age of 40, 50, we still have a lot of learning to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
what do you guys think about, like, this is a serious thing, and everybody's like, at that age you're dating, you're meeting people, like the idea of compatibility, right? Like with your partner or whoever you're potentially going to build a life with, because some people have a checklist in their head that like you have to tick all these boxes and like we are meant for each other.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like a Hollywood effect. It's like, do you think you must be 100% compatible with somebody before you get with them? Or do you think compatibility is the process of like, walking, like you like them enough that they are worth it, that you guys find a middle ground and can live
But
true
you see,
life?
like you said, like you like them enough. You have to like something about them.
Of course.
So for me, I think there are some things that are non-negotiables.
Right?
what?
Non-negotiable, like you can't bend those
Like,
things.
The truth is, if I can't even listen to what you're saying because your talk they go this, if you understand what I'm saying, like there are some people that there are just some things that have to be there. So okay, there are two sides to being compatible with someone. There's the physical and then the spiritual. When we say spiritual, I don't mean like, we just mean like your mental,
Your
your
values,
emotional, your values, all those things, right? Those are the things that they are not physical. Everything that is not physical, right? So there's the physical side. So physically, right? Like we said,
Everybody.
Okay.
I'm joking. Jesus.
Let's go.
This nigga said that on God.
On God. Yeah. We'll do
no,
so
but it's not even like, and that's one thing I've realized these days. Like when I say physical, I mean like the language, like
your love language.
No, because I realized
for they date you.
wait, now I've realized like the way somebody is built, right? I've noticed. I recently realized that I thought I had a type, but my type is actually changing. That's what I've realized, and it's like I thought that like, okay, this particular a babe that was built like this, that was my type. But I've realized that maybe because of the person. And it's like if you actually get emotional invested in another person, your type can start to change.
Yeah.
Do you get? So it's not even about how the person is built. It's just our physical connection. There's physical connection. I don't know the lingo. I don't understand. But you get what I'm saying. And then there's the mental side. So what I'm trying to say is that you just need to have these two. The mental side, I like people that are fuck. But I'm
you are sapiosexual.
Talk your shit.
Yes,
bro.
I'm interested. I want you to be curious about life. And it's
Stimulates
like
you
whatever interests you. There should be something that interests you, that excites you.
Yes.
So when I know that if this topic comes up, your eyes light up. That is interesting to me. So for me, it's just those two things, and anything else is like can work.
You guys can
walk around
compromise.
You get, but
that.
there are some two things that have to be there, and
They
I
have
feel
to
like
be
that's
in
the same
place.
for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. It's like there are some things that you actually cannot just do. If not, you'll be unhappy.
You definitely need to have red flags. Like, no, maybe red flags is the wrong word, but things that are non-negotiable, as you said. Answer your question.
I challenge you guys
What's
both
that?
on the idea of non-negotiability, right? Like the analogy I always use, like I think as human beings we're like water.
Of course.
Like you're very malleable, right? So, I understand what you guys mean. That like obviously don't compromise on something that you don't agree with and you just go with it because I want to be compatible, right? I get that, but it's like, you know, I don't feel like it's personal opinion productive to like hold an idea so like rigidly that is non-negotiable. Do you understand?
You know how I would answer that?
Because I feel like you're constantly growing, learning.
You are
learning about other people and
it's
the way they see
a balance
life,
the way I
right?
see it, right? Good and fine. Like for me, I have things that quote unquote I say are red flags, right?
Of course, yeah.
But if you take a step back and zoom out and look at the whole situation, like this relationship with this person, say you make a simple thing as a pro and con table, right? And put what are the pros of this person, what are the things, personality traits, the physical traits, whatever that I like about this person, what are the pros, the things I don't like, and obviously your red flags might fall on that side, right? Which one makes more sense? And can you compromise the cons because of the pros, right? So yes, you have red flags, but sometimes you might overlook them just because this person has so many other things you want.
And for me, I think that's a good point also, but it's like for me it's like, and I think this is another thing that's important before you even think of being compatible with anybody is to know yourself.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
It's very important.
You have to know who you are,
100%,
because when you get to a particular state of self-awareness, you just know that there are some things that will not just work. It won't just like you can try your hardest, and you've probably even tried before. Like, and we're having that conversation before. You were saying something about you not being such a social media person or something like that.
Yeah,
it's
I
like
don't give a shit.
you're just uncomfortable. Like, why am I putting myself in a very, very uncomfortable situation for this? Do you understand? And that's because you know who you are.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So it's like, just going back to what you're saying, it's not like as if it's non-negotiable, but you just know yourself. You get. That's what I think, Sean.
Sorry, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Answering your question directly, I think compatibility is a choice. Like choosing to love. I think love is also a choice.
Yeah.
Like, and I also don't believe in a soulmate or like there's one person
another
out
good
there
question.
It's bullshit.
that is meant
Like,
for me. That is not true.
bullshit.
Like
That's not true.
you
it's
meet
crap.
people, everybody is different, everybody has different characteristics, and I know, me too, I bring my own problems, you bring your own problems, everyone is different, right? But can you, as I said, go back to that table of pros and cons, right? Are you willing to overlook those cons? It's a choice whether you're willing to do that and love this
I don't
person
even
and
think
be
about
there
it
for
as
this
like
person.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't even think about it as overlooking, right? Because that whole like you watch a 2-hour movie that is just like a script that has been stitched perfectly together. There's too much nuance and variation in life for somebody to be perfect for you, and you guys are just never going to have like friction or differences. It doesn't make sense to me because for me, when I see the things that I look at as flaws in somebody, what I'm more interested in is understanding why they see the world that way. Why that's their approach, what I can learn from that. And also, because if you have somebody that is that open, it's just all about openness, then you understand each other and it's no longer friction again. It's still like, I don't do that, you don't do this. Like, let's use social media. One person is an introvert, one person is an extrovert. I don't see why you can't be together if you both understand why you are that way. But in spite of that, you still
Find a way.
like the person. Like you guys can still
and
be
it's like,
together.
and that's what you said. It's about openness. Yeah. Right. And there are actually people, and I've actually met someone like that before that wasn't open. Do you understand? It's like, and I could tell that okay, this person is at this stage where it's like they don't because there's one thing about knowing who you, like being aware of yourself when you're alone, but then being aware of yourself when you're with someone else. They are two very different things. Do you understand?
I agree,
because it's like you can know who you are on your own completely, but when somebody else has entered the
chat,
space, like the whole dynamic changes. So it's like you said, and you have to be willing to open. You have to be that kind of person that's willing to open
while simultaneously making sure that your boundaries are not crossed and you're not beginning to do things that don't sit well with your spirit.
Because there are some people that they may not be open, but then they are with somebody that likes to pry. So that works for them because this person can just be prying and be asked, and they're always like, okay, what's this, and then you like that because then you start to open up, right? But then there are some people that they are not like that. They don't like to pry. You see, it has to be give and go. Do you understand? So it's like it's all about knowing yourself and knowing how you are with somebody else. And I think that second one is interesting because it actually takes quote unquote practice.
It's hard, yeah.
I don't want to use the word practice, but it's something that you actually, if you don't try it, you will not know.
Facts.
You will actually not know. But David, you've been quiet.
You've been quiet, yeah. What do you think
I'm
about
just processing.
compatibility?
I think for me, I usually just go based off of how I feel. I think I usually focus a lot on how I feel. I try not to rationalize relationships and people.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I have things that I like and things that I don't like, right? But a lot of times I try to ask myself, why is it that I like what I like, and why is it that I dislike what I do not like? That kind of thing, right? It's like a situation where like I see somebody, I'm like, okay, normally, I can't give an example, but I see something in a girl that, okay, normally I wouldn't like this, or normally I say, oh, I don't want a woman that does this or does stuff like this, right? But then in a situation where I'm with her now, she does that thing. It's like, how does that actually make me feel? Like I try to focus on how it makes me feel in relation to who she is, rather than what's my prejudice towards that thing in the first place. So a lot of times I think I always just focus on how that person makes me feel.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever facts they are about her in terms of who she is or what she does and all those kind of things. But ultimately, like what Abel said, is like something that I always keep in my head that no matter whatever it is that I'm trying to compromise, or I'm trying to, say, okay, I like you enough to let go of all these things. I make sure that I never
Compromise yourself.
Compromise my boundaries.
Yeah,
and,
of course.
and my values.
Of course.
And that's obviously where getting to know yourself is, because I feel like I've got to a point where I know exactly the kind of things that I stand for, and kind of values that I have. But I also know like areas in my life where I have wiggle room. For example, my level of introvertedness. You understand? I know that a lot of times I like to, be to myself, and I like to just relax, and I like to chill. But on one hand, I like a woman who would want to chill as well. But I also like a woman who would want to push me and take me out of my comfort zone.
Exactly.
You understand? So in that kind of situation, I cannot say I want this or I want that. It's just based off of how that person makes me feel in that moment. You understand? Yeah. Because there's sometimes that someone can want to, someone can be an extrovert, but can be annoying.
Exactly.
You understand? But sometimes where it's like it's inspiring. It's inspiring. You understand that kind of thing?
And it's like going back to what April said, is like where you're like, okay, you don't want to hold something too strong. Yeah. Right? It's like, hey, this is a non-negotiable. But me, for example, right, it's like I'm not the kind of person that I would just be talking. I'm actually a quiet person. Yeah. I know that I would say I'm an ambivert, but I think I'm leaning towards the introverted side a little. But I try to move around. Yeah. I don't know if I mean it based on past record, it has not worked where I can be with somebody that's also very, very, very quiet.
Yeah, it won't work.
It just won't work. That's what I'm trying to tell you about some things that just can't work. It just can't. Because this is the kind of person, and I'm not going to force myself to be talking. I will be uncomfortable. You get? So it's like that kind of thing. Now you know that if you're someone that's very, very introverted, you actually want somebody that is talking and is out there. You get? And at the same time, I cannot also deal with somebody that's too far.
Of course, yeah.
Both sides, yeah.
Because you be like, cross.
I beg now, don't do.
I think in general, right, that some level of, if one thing that you don't want to be in life, in my opinion, like just in general, in anything in your career, in your life, is stagnant.
Yeah, of course.
So maybe we shouldn't always read a level of discomfort in relationships as a bad thing.
No, 100%.
It could be a sign of growth. You're learning something new, and somebody is challenging you as a human being, right? Yeah. So it's like, obviously, too much discomfort is bad because it now becomes unhealthy, right? But it's like, whenever I'm on Twitter these days and I'm just reading, like I'm just getting the vibe of, Twitter is very raw, and people are just, it's like nobody has patience anymore to just like remove yourself from the situation and observe and learn some things. Like if you feel discomfort, if it's not working, if it's somebody, I'm gone. Fuck off, on to the next one, because you're in a pool of billions of options, and I don't think that's healthy, personally.
But that can also create a slippery slope in a sense where, like, where do you now draw the line in terms of, okay, you meet somebody, how do you actually let yourself know that, okay, this is not working? Like, what are the things that can actually make you realize that this is not working?
That's
for me, one good one is communication. If I can't communicate with you well, it can't work. It can't. Because for me, that is the foundation of any relationship, whether it's you and your father, you and your friend, you and your lover. It's communication. If I'm talking to you and maybe we talk this time and it's like, we are butting heads and it's difficult. Okay, that's fine. That happens. We talk again and it's like, okay, I ask you about this one. You say, oh, I don't want to talk about this. Okay, this one is tight. The conversation seems like
there's so much friction.
We're now off. We talk again another time. It's tight. At that point, sorry.
What if you guys have good communication, but you just realize that you don't really necessarily enjoy your time with her?
And that's
a big
that's the
flag.
same thing.
And that's when you to be super honest.
Of course. If I'm enjoying communicating with you, that means I'm enjoying my time with you. Because
there's everything having clear communication and actually enjoying communication. You understand what I mean?
So you enjoy just being with the person or
like
presence with the person?
Because based off of what we've said now, right? Like, when you meet somebody, you understand? You guys get to start talking. You understand? And so sometimes, like when you have one conversation with somebody, you kind of know, okay, this might go, this might work, or this might not work out. But there's also times that you're obviously you're not sure. You understand? If you now say, okay, let's go based off of, okay, let's learn. Let me be uncomfortable with. Let me be comfortable with being uncomfortable, that kind of thing. Or let me use this opportunity to get out of my shell or to learn a bit. Like at what point would that uncomfortability read as, okay, this is not working out?
I think it's intuitive. Like you can tell. Like you know when
things are not going as
it's just
should.
how
and if it's
when you don't feel right.
If I see that, okay, maybe we've been like you said, I'm out of my comfort zone and I'm trying. I'm trying, right? And it's like it gets to a point where I've been trying and I see your name coming up on my phone and I'm like, which can't see this? From that point, for me,
I think about it like
you don't off
the same way you will know when a job you have this job is I can't do it anymore. The level of discomfort you will feel. It's like you have done all the rationalizations and trying to make it work. It's the same way you will know when it's time to let it go. Not because you're a bad person, but because it's now to your own detriment.
And it's
if you get what I mean.
And that's what I was going back to the point where I was like, okay, there's the physical kind of communication and there's the mental. Because that's the reason why something called friends with benefits exists. Because there are some people that physically, when we're in the same space physically, and we're just sitting like it's just
it's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Do you understand? Because that's a lingo. There's a really communicates. You understand?
See, for example, I've been in situations where you meet somebody, obviously the physical attraction is there, and you guys can obviously there are pros and there are cons to the person. You understand? Like you see that okay, this person does some things that don't really sit well with my spirit, but it's not something that I cannot live without, kind of thing, right? And then okay, so all of that is out of the window now, and it's like okay, based off of you guys like your communication and just spending time together and seeing how you feel, right? And there's sometimes where like I'm with the person and it feels good. You understand? It feels nice. It feels enjoyable. You understand? And there's sometimes where like I'm with the person and I'm not really feeling it. You understand? Maybe I'm bored or I'm just like. The energy that the person is giving is not the kind of energy that I'm looking for, right? But also during those times I start to give excuses for myself, like okay, maybe I'm just tired or I've just been busy or I have so many things on my mind, maybe, you understand? So at what point now would you now see, because if this thing has been going on and there sometimes it feels good, sometimes it feels bad, sometimes it feels good, sometimes it feels bad, at what point do you now say okay, this is not working out?
So maybe I think that's an interesting one, and one thing I was trying to think of, sometimes it might just be convenience. That's one thing I've realized. Like there are some times where it's not really about the person, right? It's just about the situation. That okay, you would like a nice vibe, and the person is chill. It's like it's not really about them. It's not like okay, this is this vibe that. I think that's one way.
Yeah, I hear your question, but let me ask you: is like, do you ever think it's because it's no longer novel? Everything is euphoric when it's
new.
Like
new.
Novelty is no longer new.
Okay. Like it's
because
not fresh.
I picked up with what you said, bored.
Yeah.
If you decide to make the decision that you're going to pick a life partner, then you have to understand that there will be boredom.
No, that's
right?
it.
It's not even that deep yet.
That's
it's not that deep. I'm trying to challenge boredom,
exactly.
right?
What I'm trying to explain to you is like, when you first meet somebody, you understand, and like, because I've had talking stages. You understand? We've all had talking stages. Like, it's a weird
honeymoon
phase.
phase.
Yes, the honeymoon phase. That beginning time when you first meet somebody and it's phone call every day, texting. It's just you're curious. You understand? There's a lot of things you're trying to get to know about that person, and it's the energy is just there. You understand? In this the situation I'm actually talking about now is a situation where like it's sometimes you feel that euphoria of it's like a drug.
Yeah.
But then other times it's like nah. you know. But then another time comes again and you feel that euphoria again. So it's not, this one is not a graph of, okay, you're going up with the euphoria and then you eventually just come down and you keep going. It's a situation where like you go up with euphoria, some days you come down, man, and other days you go up with euphoria again and you come down again. Do you understand? I feel like in that kind of situation now, that can, what Odus actually said might be right, where it's not actually about the person, but it's the situation and the convenience of it. You understand? Sometimes it's like, maybe that's going up and down is actually your own personal emotions. You understand? Where it's like some days you feel good, and no matter who the person is, as long as it's company, you feel good about whatever company you're in. And some days you feel bad, you're tired, you're stressed, and whoever it is that's with you at that time is going to stress you out or just make you feel tired. That kind of thing. Maybe I'm just rationalizing.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, because I think Odudu's points in summary is basically saying that there should be like, you should also challenge it on the personal level. Like, how much of a role do I have to play in how I'm feeling right now? Like, try and remove the person from it, because it in the end it's two of you, like giving and taking, right? For me, like, I just think, because that graph you just drew, you can apply that graph to life.
Of course.
Like, just life in itself.
No,
right?
but the thing about that graph, if it's good, even if it's going up, down, the overall trend over a period of
is
going
up.
up.
Absolutely,
like,
yes,
like
that's
stock
true.
market.
Exactly. And I think the reason why I brought that scenario up now is because of what you guys were saying about like how you should be comfortable with being uncomfortable and realize that it's a certain level. It's growth in quote unquote. It could be growth.
Yeah,
and my question is, I'm asking now, if the graph is going up and down like that, at what point, right, do you now see that, okay, I've put myself out there, I've tried my best, I've come out of my comfort zone, but I still don't really feel any progress.
I feel like that is when
this is
the
not working.
graph in general, using that graph analogy, is consistently down
Or straight.
and
It's not down.
or straight and not going up, right? 1, 2 is probably also when you start to realize, oh, with this person we are butting heads a lot more often than I think we should, which is not a good thing, right? Those are just little signs. Maybe also you enjoy spending time, you enjoy your time with this person less often than you used to. So like, it might not be one straight out fact, right? Or one event that might make you, it could be also, but most times it's not. That makes you understand that, oh, I don't think this is working. But it's like a bunch of little things that build up. And those are like just examples of things that could be.
One of them I also think is communication, right? Because you have to watch what the communication is like. If you are still interested in somebody, you can always gauge the effort. It's like, if you are doing something you love, if you're an artist, whatever, there's a certain passion that you put into it that somebody else can see. That's what you see from somebody who is still invested in making this shit work. And if you're still invested, that energy will be there. There will still be, it will be, so it's like, this thing is not working, I'm trying so hard to make it work. Both ways, right? Well, when it begins to, like, on both
slow
sides,
down.
it's just, you know that, it has come to its logical conclusion and end.
That was Disha.
Yeah.
No,
And sometimes it's one-sided, where it's one person's energy that just, they can't do it anymore.
For me, I just know that, like we said, it's just, and it's a good thing, because you're aware of how over time, like you're aware of how the thing is making you feel and all that stuff. And it's like, you just have to be aware of yourself, man. That's the first thing, and also be aware of how you are with someone else. Because things start to become very clear. Because there's been this situation before where I knew that, okay, this person is not very aware of themselves when they're with someone else. Like, they know who they are, but they're not very aware of themselves when they're with someone else. Because if someone else is in your space, you have to be able to communicate. Right? If you are interested. But the thing is that some people, they might actually be interested, but they don't know how to express it, because now there's somebody else in that space. They can know when they are alone. I might be speaking, it might not be very, very clear what I'm trying to say, but when they are when they are alone with themselves, it's like everything is clear. You understand yourself, right?
Because it's only you,
you get, but you're not now aware enough to understand, okay, there's somebody else in this mix in your space now. So it's like there are things that you need to say clearly or express clearly, or so it's like, at the end of the day, man, I honestly think that kind of thing comes with experience. I think I feel like, and that's another interesting question I would like to ask. I mean, most of the times when you can actually meet someone once and it clicks. right? But do you think that dating multiple, like actually dating, would you prefer to, what I'm saying is, would you prefer to be with someone that has actually dated a few times?
That has experience.
That has experience
100%.
in the dating game or not?
For me, yes.
On one hand, yes, right? That's the easy answer.
Well, the other hand, of course.
Because it makes it easy for you.
What's
but
the other hand?
the other hand is who dates the people who have no experience.
Who dates the people who have no experience?
Yeah, there are going to be people who have zero experience, like in anything. And so, what are they just out of the group chat?
No, they're not.
I think there are a lot of life lessons that you can apply to relationships, right? Which basically means that you don't necessarily have to have experience with relationships to know how to handle a relationship.
True.
You probably just need to have proper experience with life.
That's
So
facts.
that one, it just depends on the kind of person the person is.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter
100%.
because there are a lot of people that have been in a lot of relationships
And they still
They
don't
still
know.
don't know shit.
Because
Clueless.
they have not taken the time to. Because have you seen those people where I'm not going to call any names, but it's like it's marathon boyfriend season.
Bro, there was this in my school. She could not be alone.
It's
Somebody she must be dating somebody.
And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the things we spoke about earlier. When it's like, what exactly is the reasons why people get into relationships? You understand? Like, so people that to get into a relationship, right? And then they get to a point where it's like, okay, they're not feeling it anymore, and they go out and then they find somebody they find attractive. Talk. Oh, I like you. I'm convenient. Maybe you. I just don't feel like being alone. I don't feel like being alone. I get a relationship. There are a lot of people like that, and there are people like that will, at this rate, they'll rack up like 10 boyfriends or girlfriends. You understand? And they've been in a lot of relationships, yet they don't know anything about relationships because
and anything about themselves.
Exactly, because
more important.
they get to these relationships and when they come out, they actually don't sit down and think, okay, what was the reason why this relationship didn't work
exactly.
out? What part did I have to play in this relationship?
A lot of people just blame the other
A lot of people just say,
person.
okay,
Yeah,
that's my toxic ex. That my ex way
Toxic
do
ex.
this, do that, do
Fucking
this,
hell.
do that, and it's like, bro, see,
That's a huge red flag. Like huge red flag.
a lot of times, like if I'm speaking to a girl, right, and I'm talking, and we just have conversations about like past relationships and stuff, and there's just a constant narrative. Like all her exes have a constant narrative. They they are almost the same person, kind of thing. I just need to say
Peace.
Ego B, bros. Adios.
Because they cannot be bad. Like that's not realistic.
I mean, they
Have
can't
you
be
checked-
bad.
have you
but
checked yourself?
They can't be bad, but
But mention your own part.
Exactly.
Right? Don't always blame the person. Like
Because-
that's when you know there's a problem.
Because when they say when people say something like they believe what they are saying, if you cannot even open the mouth and say, "Oh, I played a role in this, I've learned," then that means you really still believe that they are all
Exactly. And
assholes.
unless obviously there are cases like with things like assault, right? Now that one there's no what
Of
part to
course,
be playing, that kind of thing. Now that's a different case. But if it's a situation where, like you say, the relationship just fizzled out, or people were not putting effort, or
it was
this kind
like
of
this
things,
and
or this was like this or that, then come on.
Come on.
Yeah, it's mad. But I think if as an adult, if you date someone, and this is something I personally believe, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but ultimately, you can only experience someone else from yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's about you. When I say it's about you, I don't mean that in a selfish way. It's not about you, but you. If you date somebody and it doesn't work out and you come out, you should have learned some things about yourself.
Yeah, of course.
It's very, very important because it's like you can only experience somebody else from you. It's all happening in your head, in your mind, in your eyes, in your hand. Like it's all there. So it's like you have to learn about yourself. And it's like like what you guys said. You see something that immediately one boyfriend ends or one girlfriend ends.
Next one.
You guys
Next one.
get
It's like,
another one.
Fuck out.
I need to rest.
No, the examples I have of that,
mostly
they're
from
all
girls.
babes, and
Yeah.
it's not an attack. But it's
Yeah.
like I know this particular girl. It's like there has to be, she has to be,
Yeah.
and it's not like talking.
Yeah.
There has to be someone that she's dating. That
Dating.
this is my
So
boyfriend,
people are just not comfortable being alone.
and that is a problem for me. That is
People
a
are just not
major,
comfortable being
a
alone.
major
I don't like
red
that,
flag.
yeah.
Of course.
A major
And
red
but
flag.
the thing is, it's
'Cause
one
I
of those
love
things
being
like
alone.
you say okay, it's a red flag, but that kind of thing is like it's very hard to know when you start to speak to somebody that this person is uncomfortable being alone, because sometimes those people are not very clingy.
Yeah,
You
true.
understand? It's not like you see they just want to be around you all the time. It's just they just want to. Some people crave intimacy.
Yeah,
You understand? And some people, because they crave intimacy, they always try to paint a form of false intimacy with anybody that's convenient around
True.
them. And this one is a personal example, that kind of thing, right? I've seen somebody where I know that she's basically just trying to paint some sort of false intimacy because that is what she craves.
Yeah, true.
And she at that point it's like whatever or whoever is convenient in her life at that time, she's like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people use that situation to deceive themselves.
Yeah, no, I mean, guy, if you build anything on a shaky foundation that's not solid,
And
it will crumble.
There are some situations where like, and this is also I've seen this before where I know you don't actually know me like that, right? But I tick a few of your boxes.
That one pisses me off.
That one is crazy.
That was cringe.
We go there, yo.
You're my king. You're my king. I'm like, nigga, I met you last week. How am I your king?
Did you know? Did you get? Did you
My
fucking get?
niggas are weak.
Did you fucking get?
Yeah.
No, that one pisses me off. That one pisses, and it's like, it's annoying when you see that they actually try to mold themselves into a narrative of somebody that they think you will like.
Like, do you understand?
It's like, I know you are not interested in this thing, but it's like, oh, this person is this, he's that, he's this,
oh
he's
my
that.
God, you're so.
And I like you, I want to be with you, and then you know that you are not necessarily interested in my children, but we go in, and then we try to always like, see, I don't want to, because there are few things that I will say that will, you know, we'll cast. So I'm going to keep quiet. I'm just going to stay in the corner.
No, but for me that's the worst one.
Yeah.
Because like me, you know when somebody has now started seeing you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when somebody really sees you.
It's so refreshing.
It's so refreshing, and it's like, because for me, I know that like this, I'm not going to let everyone see me. Do you understand? Like, I have to be. We have to get to a level. I have to become more comfortable before I start showing you myself. Right? And it's like, I know that you've not seen me. You don't know who I am. I already telling
you're
you
saying all
this
these
and
things.
this. Come on, baby girl.
It's like
I like what you just said, but like, is that a good or a bad thing when from both parts everybody is not coming as themselves in the beginning?
It's not like as if I'm not coming as myself, right? But there's
there's
like
more
now,
to me than
there's like for example, if we're at a party,
Mm-hmm.
they're throwing party here now, and everybody's just around, and it's like, I'm not the kind of person, and everybody's interacting with each other, right? I'm not the kind, you cannot know me in a circle with people. It's not possible.
Fair.
It's not possible. Like, I mean, whatever you're going to see of me is very, very, is something you can see from anybody in this world.
Surface,
It's nothing. Do you understand? So it's like, and there are some people that are the opposite. You know them, you know their spirits.
not really.
Some people, there are people that like, I mean, and this is not just babe, like even some guys that you see in a party and you see the way they are behaving in a party. When you get to know them personally, you know that this is them.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that in as much as you can have an idea of the kind of person they are, right? Ultimately, with everybody, this is why I believe.
No,
right?
100%.
Like,
and this is not me prejudging or saying this is what they are. You get, but it's like, how do I say it? It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but just going back to my own. Like me personally, it's not like I said I'm not coming as myself, but it's just I'm a closed up person. I'm an introvert.
But I think that's
what I'm trying to explain to you, right? Sorry, is that in that situation you are not coming different from who you are.
Exactly.
Because that quiet, closed off person, that is the vibe you are giving off. It doesn't necessarily mean that is not who you are.
Exactly.
It just means that this is
not all of you.
This is a cover. What's the word? I would say a cover. Like a preview
like
of who you
onions.
are,
Yeah, exactly.
before you get to know me.
Thumbnail.
And
Exactly.
that is literally for everybody.
the
It's
onion
like,
example is perfect, actually.
It's like onions.
Because
exactly.
yes,
And
there are
it's
layers to it.
And it's like there are now people that you meet that are, because of what they've just that surface that they've seen, they're interested to peel the onion.
exactly.
Right? And it's like when somebody starts, and it's me that will open up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like when somebody has now begun to see the layers of the onion and the inside. Everybody, two of us, we know.
And
we know what's going on.
And the thing is that preview that sparks the interest.
Exactly.
You understand?
Yeah.
But the problem is when people jump from that initial spark of interest to say, "Oh, I like you," because it's okay to be interested in me from what you see. Obviously, the physical and a little bit of the psychological, right?
Yeah.
It's okay to be interested in what you see and be open to exploring and getting to know me more.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what talking is.
Exactly.
I just wanted to share a quote I read
Yeah.
that stuck with me and was interesting about this whole compatibility thing we've been talking about, and it was interesting. I think everyone should think about it because I'm thinking about it. And it said compatibility is not a precondition for love. It is the achievement of love. So if you're going to be with somebody, like, I guess the spirit of the statement is that, like, you're not just going to meet them and they are already your ideal in your mind. Being compatible with somebody in the long run is a product of working hard to finding, your middle ground. And if you can compromise with that person to have a real productive partnership. And I think it goes for business. If you are a CEO and the board of directors, some of them don't like each other, but everything is still for the good of the company.
The question now is, I think the question that I've been asking throughout this episode is, what is that condition to keep going? What's that condition to keep going to the point where this person is compatible, or you are working towards being compatible?
I don't think it's definitely for everyone.
It's not
I think it changes per person and per situation. That's what I think. But it is intuitive.
I think it's something you feel.
It's something you feel.
You just know.
There's no definite answer. That's what me.
Okay. For some people,
I guess it's just if you just love someone enough to just
exactly
be compatible with.
For some people, it could be kids. Yeah. Like, okay, we're going to stay together because of our kids. We might not. We don't hate each other enough that our relationship is destructive to our kids. But that's why we stick together.
How do you stay monogamous?
You can make an arrangement. Everybody defines their relationship. When this is not even a monogamy.
That's the topic for another day. I just throw in.
No, of course, but it was just an interesting statement, and I found it profound.
Oh yeah, well, this was a fantastic. We actually started from kids.
I swear.
Please discuss about don't just bring any kids
because that's the reason why a lot of us are mad today.
I tell you,
people no plan. They just born children.
A lot of people have these traumas because of that. Exactly. But anyways,
and also climate change. We don't need too much people in the world. Moving on. David.
Actually, Elon Musk disagrees. He actually thinks everybody should be having like 5 kids. He thinks the population.
And he has one kid.
No, he has 5.
He has 5 kids.
He has 5 children.
Elon has 5 children.
I told the last one, the one that is named hashtag something X. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is his only kid?
No. Elon has 5 kids. He has been married like 2 times.
Wow, interesting.
Anyways, I can afford divorce. Anyways,
that was a fantastic episode.
Lovely.
We can now segue into
the music.
Music of the week, guys. Let's get it.
Everyone been listening to.
Mommy, I'm just going to start.
Let's go.
This guy, he's somewhat on the ground, I guess, because I haven't really heard anybody talk about him before. But his name is famous, actually, spelled with a PH. PHAEMOUS. I think he's an Abuja boy, actually.
Yeah, I think I've heard about him. Yeah.
Because he has a song with Psycho YP. I don't know if
I've
he has a song with SK, so it seems like
he's an Abuja boy. I know I've seen that name somewhere.
Famous,
yeah. But I listened to his tape and I was like, okay, this guy surprised me. So I have 2 songs from his tape that I actually want to recommend. The first one is the intro, which is called Running. I don't know. I've been playing that song on repeat for the past week now, and Forbidding as well. So yeah, those are 2 songs. The tape is called Fayway Volume 1, so you should check it out. But yeah, that's my music.
Those are good picks. Let me go next. God,
see. No worries.
It sounds good. That's what I said.
You don't cast, bro.
But yeah, man, this week, God, it's tough because I've been listening to a lot of new shit and it's hard. But I think I can distill them into 3. Let's see, hopefully 3. So Jules and Sauti Soul have this song called Mare.
Is he on Jules' Sounds?
Yes, and I think that's, I would say, probably my best song there, if not my top 2.
Yeah.
No, Love Language is also good. Intentionally? See, it's hard. That's the a lot of things there are good. But anyway, Mare is by Jules and Sauti Soul. Really, really lovely. This song was Zumba Madwe by our boy Ricardo Banks. I cannot get enough of this jam. And I just watched the video and it's quite disappointing, but let's leave that for now. And then my last one by Skibby. I didn't think this guy was alive, I just have to say that. but it's called Baddest Boy. It's new. Check it out. Like, it is a very good vibe. So those are my 3 jams. Odus.
Okay, so I think I have 2 jams. One of them is a hype song, and one of them is for when you're having that physical communication with
when you're fighting
with your friend.
Principalities and powers.
What the fuck? Okay, so the one for that physical interaction is called Wusa. Jeremy, Chimezie, and Twister.
Interesting.
That the jam is mad.
Okay. Is it new music?
It's actually quite old.
Oh,
it's on Jeremy's album. but it's really good. And then the second one is
How's that guy's name pronounced? Is it Jeremiah or Jeremy?
my bros.
Jeremiah.
All these guys they always do all these tricksters. Their name. All these
Man,
tricks.
I'm confused.
Nah, slacks. 6 black. You know how long it took me to get that?
Now 6 lakh now.
6
like-
lakhs.
6 lakh now.
I think it's black.
It's actually
It's black, but it's like
But
6
why would
lakh.
you spell it with 6 lakh for
Like-
God's sake?
Inufi patent
Or
black
slack.
now.
Now you need something now. Anyways, the second song is you know the fucking vibe. King Perry and Psycho YP.
Yeah.
I know that song. That song is a
that
fucking
jam
that,
is fire.
so mad.
It's for Ginger. That
So
was
mad.
interesting. So yeah, those would be my 2 picks.
Okay.
Nice. For me, I have 2 songs this week. Yeah, man. Everyone is talking about Travis right now, and you know his crimes.
Fuck.
You just say
It's not his crimes now.
No, I'm not.
Like-
I'm talking about. I don't. I
Yeah,
give
you're
my
speaking for
opinion.
people. Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like Travis has been in the news anyways, but he dropped new music that I actually like.
I have to listen to
Mafia is like a double song. It's Escape Plan and Mafia, but the Mafia part, this song is one I like. J. Cole is actually doing background vocals in the song.
interesting.
Yeah, it's mad.
Oh,
So
mad.
Mafia by Travis Scott. And my second song is one song that David actually played for me yesterday, and Sacrifice.
Sacrifice by who?
That song is mad.
By black guy.
By Bucci, Zap, and SK.
Guy,
Zap is good. Zap is good.
That's
Yeah.
the
You know,
perfect FIFA
I
song.
think Zap was on Omoy. Remember Omoy? with
10 Mile
Miles?
song, yeah.
I think
And I think so, yeah. But like I've seen Zap in some songs I like before, and that song is lit. I like it. Yeah. Those are my 2 jams.
Okay, this episode was heavy.
Good.
Heavy.
And
Well, it was fun.
we showed our soft
But
side.
yeah,
I love it.
It was a fantastic. I think we won.
Soft side. I ain't soft, nigga.
Abel, hard guy for waiting.
Man's
Mad.
not hard in it.
All that's vanity.
Oh, because
Mad.
of the fun line.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I'm
You're
sorry,
singing
my
the
bad.
wrong song.
But everyone understands what I'm saying.
It's supposed to be a
Fuck off,
Jaeger.
nigga.
Everyone understands what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, that's true. Off the pod.
Off the board.
Let's
So,
go,
you
sir.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for
listening
I mean,
and continue
fantastic
support.
episode. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, smash that like button,
Comment, share with your friends and family. Put it in the group chats.
send our friends and family.
You know the vibes now.
Of course.
Yeah.
All right, man. Have a good week, guys.
Have a
Have a good week.
You guys take care.
I've been a kids, man,
Thank you everybody for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell your friends about it, share it, and follow us on all socials at @TFDRadio_. You can find more information in the podcast description. Also, please do not forget to check out the Fake Deep Radio playlist on Spotify made specially for you. Have a great week.
I've been